Should women's shoes come stamped with a warning label? The American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons thinks so. They are releasing a study later today showing that some women's dress shoes are more than just uncomfortable. They're downright dangerous. And consumer editor Paula Lyons brings us this exclusive report.
Generations of women have grown up wearing them, and no doubt about it, high-heeled shoes are graceful, feminine, and many men and women love the way they look.
You can't really wear orthopedic shoes with an evening gown. It doesn't really look right. So yeah, sometimes you have to suffer to be beautiful, I guess.
But the nation's orthopedic surgeons believe women are paying too high a price for beauty. Dr. Michael Coughlin just completed a 15-year study of more than 2,000 foot surgeries and found that over 80% of the patients with foot deformities were women.
Bunion abnormalities was 94%. In other words, 6% were males, 94% were females. Hammer toes were less so, but still strikingly high. 80% were women, 20% were men.
Two other common problems, bunionettes and neuromas, or painful thickening of the nerves in the front of the feet. The most common cause, squeezing feet into shoes with heels that are too high and toe boxes that are too narrow.
If you look at this, that's not the shape of your forefoot or anybody's forefoot. That's an x-ray on the left where we can see the foot that is normally just sitting there on the ground. And then on the right we see the x-ray inside the shoe. And look how the toes all are scrunched together and pointed right inside that pointed toe box. And that's what causes the deformities over a long period of time.
But is the warning label the orthopedic surgeons are proposing for high-heeled or tight shoes necessary? The shoe industry says most women have already gotten the message. They've been turning away from high heels.
They don't wear them for long periods of time, and that only represents probably less than 10% of the whole footwear industry. And today's modern woman basically will not buy shoes that are not comfortable. She just won't.
But Dr. Coughlin says he sees evidence to the contrary every day in his practice.
I think that if we save a few thousand people from going through surgery and the expense of this and the pain of this, we'll have made a real effect on our women in America.
All right, and Paula Lyons joins us now. We were talking about this earlier this morning.
Right.
I do wear high heels here in the studio, to be very blunt, because it makes your legs look better.
Absolutely.
However, you've never seen me walk out of here with them.
Absolutely.
I walk out in flats.
And I am always in flats. I now have the finest collection of flats you've ever seen, from rhinestone to gold to
But are you like me when I was younger? I mean, I can remember being a reporter on the streets of New York and running around in high heels all day long, and I don't know how I did it. I was always in pain.
Well, and a lot of us did it in our younger years, and I think that when you're talking that 80% number that the doctor found of women having foot surgeries, then you're talking about 10 or 20 years of damage that are women are now paying for.
But different manufacturers are responding. These are what?
These are the Easy Spirit shoes, all
the
of
ones
these,
where
they all play basketball.
And
notice you have a very high heel. This is their medium, this is their low. They also give you variety in the fronts of the shoe, pointed or rounded toe boxes.
The rounded toe box giving more room to that front of your foot.
Right, so they're padded too. And then you have these, which are from Soft Sport, and they have these rubber soles and
they're flexible.
So manufacturers are definitely responding. And consumers today, women have many, many, many choices. So let's hope the younger women today don't repeat our mistakes and end up 10 or 20 years from now in surgery.
Be comfortable. That's the main thing. And go by in the afternoon when your feet are at the
already expanded
biggest
and get them measured.
All right, Paula, thank you very much.